Hey guys, what's up? My name's Grant Borland, and today I want to show you a quick little tip on how you can make elements in your mixes a little bit wider. I've got a track here that I've been working on. It's like a TV production music track, and I want to show you one way I make elements in my mixes a little bit wider, and I'm using an effect called the Haas effect. And basically what the Haas effect is it's when you take a delay, like a stereo delay, that can independently control the left and the right channel, and what you do is you offset either the left or the right channel by a very small fraction of a millisecond. Like I think I have mine set to about 22 milliseconds. And it basically creates this audio illusion that makes things sound wider. They're perceived to be a little bit wider. Basically, if you think about delay, or what a delay is, it's, a signal and then it repeats itself, over and over. And so with Haas effect, instead you're making your delay tail really short, so short to the point where your brain, when it hears it, isn't going to register it as two separate delays. It's going to sound like it's almost happening at the same time, but it's just a few milliseconds later than the initial signal, which makes it sound wider to the listener's ears. It's kind of fascinating. But I'm going to show you the track, kind of show you what I mean by this, and you'll kind of see what I'm saying. I would recommend using monitors or headphones so you can kind of get more of that width. But let's just take a look at this session. I'm going to highlight just this middle section of this track. I don't think it's really necessary to go through the whole thing, because really I've got the Haas effect working in this middle section. I've kind of applied it to some ticking elements. Yeah, why don't we just listen to it real quick and you'll see what I'm saying. So for reference, there we go. I mean, I cut it right before the climax of the track, but that is kind of the section we're going to be focusing on. If you heard in that, I kind of had these clock ticks that were, kind of building some tension as everything's building up. And that, in this track, is what I applied the Haas effect to. I think, generally, when thinking about, like, mixes and stuff like that, when you want to make things sound wider, I've been told, and I do it in my own tracks, is, like, more high-frequency information, or ear candy, maybe, can be pushed wider than, like, bass information. So in my mind, I kind of think about like a V. At the center of the V is going to be kind of like lower information, and then at the ends of the V or whatever is going to be like high frequency information. I think it tricks our ears into making things sound wider when you focus on those types of elements. That's personal preference, but for me, that's kind of what I do, and I know there's a good amount of friends and colleagues that do the same thing. So that's kind of what I have focused this Haas effect on for this. So let me isolate the ticking track really quick, and you can just hear what that sounds like. Not super interesting, it just kind of gets a little bit faster as things start to build. I do have a little bit of EQ and then some saturation on that as well, just to somewhat beefing it up. I've got this thing called sample delay, and I've made a preset called Haas effect, so I can just pull this up pretty quickly. This is how I set it. So really my left channel is set at 0 milliseconds, and my right channel is set at 22 milliseconds. You can measure it in milliseconds or samples. I set it to milliseconds, and I just make sure it's very fast. I think you can probably get away with about 33 to 35 milliseconds, but anything over that, I think your brain will start to interpret it as more of a delay rather than a single source of audio. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, that is kind of my preset for the Haas effect. So if we listen to it real quick, and if I turn it off, I'm going to alternate between turning it on and turning it off. So I don't know, if you're listening on headphones and monitors, you can probably hear that it's getting wider. Let's listen to it in context with the mix too. There you have it, Haas effect. Really simple effect, but I think it's really effective. Yeah, I wanted to make a short little video tutorial, if you will, on how I use the Haas effect in Logic Pro. It doesn't have to just be clock ticks. I just like to use this on more high frequency information because those are the types of things when I'm thinking about a mix is pushing that, you know, a little bit wider than all the other information. It kind of adds that ear candy to a listener and just overall makes things to be a little bit more perceived as wider, even if it's just a, you know, auditory illusion, so to speak. So that's cool. This track is fun. I'm still kind of working on it, but it was fun to break out the guitars and synths for this one. But yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys found it interesting and helpful. Go try it in your next track. Throw it on some elements and see if you can't make things just a little bit wider. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.